Hi, welcome to Knits Up. I am Mindy, otherwise known as Knitter CNY. You can find me in all the places on social media at the links down below this video. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for coming and watching the podcast. I know I haven't posted regularly. I'm going to be changing that. If you are a new viewer, please feel welcome. Please subscribe, make comments, all kinds of stuff. I'd like to start to interact a little bit more with subscribers now that things are getting back to normal, I guess, if you could call it normal. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have noticed a post on Saturday which says that I am changing up the podcast a little bit. My social media director slash consultant is helping me with that. When I said something about the podcast, she got very excited because she watches a couple of kid-friendly podcasts and said, "It's about knitting and crochet. Is it really boring?" And I thought to myself, well, it could be a little bit more exciting. And she got into it big time. She was like, you need to take new photos. You need to, make it exciting for people. Here's what you do. And it was really funny. It's my goddaughter. So she was a riot. She was actually very helpful. She was very enthused about the whole thing and actually did have a couple of good ideas. And I contributed as well, obviously, because it's my podcast. I've been doing this for over 12 years on an audio format and a video format. So I wanted to make it a little bit more exciting for people. We will be having some new content. In the coming weeks, you'll see some things. I'll be looking to design a logo and give you something more exciting than just me holding up a project and going, this is what I did this week. And, not really doing anything that's interactive. I haven't interacted a whole lot with subscribers. I did a few giveaways towards the beginning. I don't really do giveaways right now because of COVID and because just I wasn't in a place where I could do that. But I think what I'm going to be doing is not giveaways, but sharing some knowledge. I've been knitting and crocheting for over 30 years, believe it or not. I will be turning 50 this summer. It's hard for me to believe that, but it's the truth. So I wanted to kind of start to change a few things. So this will be one of the podcasts. It'll be shorter. I am just going to do my traditional format for this one. What I'm working on, an FO, FOs, and future plans. So we'll still do this format. I think I'm going to probably try and post that once a week. I'll try and post on Sundays, whether it's once a week or once every 2 weeks. Depends on what's going on with work and personal things. In personal news, actually, I have had my first dose of Pfizer vaccine last weekend. So in 2 weeks, I will get the second dose, and then 2 weeks after that will be Easter, and hopefully I'll have good full immunity by then. That would be excellent. I would be very excited about that. And so, without further ado, let me turn here and get the blanket. This is a blanket that I knitted for my cousin's daughter, who is 2, and I had made her a baby blanket out of Bernat Pipsqueak in this color, which is called Sittin' Pretty. Bernat Pipsqueak looks like this in the ball. It is a number 5 bulky. It's 100% polyester. It's very fluffy. I'm going to kind of hold this over my hand. You can kind of see how fluffy that is. I would not recommend this yarn for a new knitter. I think it's very difficult. It would be very difficult to see if you dropped your stitches and then we're trying to, pick them up. It would be cute for like an edging on something. I think if you crocheted, that's the other thing. I would like, if you have crocheted with this yarn, could you comment below and tell me what you crocheted with it, how you found it to work with? I have just knitted with it. I used a number 10 6.0 millimeter needle and I just knit back and forth. This thing is super long. This is my wingspan, and there are 5 sections. There are 2 ends that are short white, and then there's 2 sections of sitting pretty, and then there's a white section in the middle. This blanket, there we go, focus, goes from all the way to my feet. So I wanted to basically make a blanket that was big enough for a twin size bed. And I think I accomplished that. It's very warm. Pipsqueak is very warm. It's very insulating. It would make a lovely inside of a hat or something like that if you were trying to fleece line a hat. And the yarn was relatively cheap. The Sit Pretty came from Canada when I was at the Spin Right Yarnspirations, the Spin Right factory store, the Yarn Factory outlet that's in Listowel, Ontario, about 4 years ago, actually. And so I made that blanket. The other thing I finished, there are 3 hats. I don't remember if we showed these last time or if they were done last time. Here's 2 of them. It's just a 2x2 rib that's knit 2, purl 2. And they were done on size 11 needles, which I think is a 7 millimeter. I'm not really sure. Offhand. It's a US size 11, but 2x2 rib. And it's Caron Chunky Cakes in Plum Perfect. And I got 2 hats already. And the 3rd hat is living in this bag. Knitting is my cardio. I think I picked that up at Michael's at one point. And this is all a big whopper mess. But let's get it into one section. This hat looks longer because the brim isn't folded up like the other one is. But this is kind of a more stockinette kind of hat. I just did a section of ribbing and some stockinette. And I'll finish off with this yarn. So I will have gotten 3 hats out of that that yarn, which is a very good thing because I think the cake was on sale. This is not showing up the right color. This is actually orange. There you go. Now it's showing up the right color. This is Hometown by Lion Brand. It's in the Syracuse Orange colorway. Yarn ball looks like that. It's a number 6 bulky. It's 100% acrylic. And I have several balls of that to make hats. Again, just a 2x2 rib, knit 2, purl 2. And it'll get done relatively quickly. The other thing that I'm working on, pardon me as I bend to get what I'm working on, which is a blanket. This has been a blanket that's been on my crochet hook for years, and it's lay dormant for quite a while, hibernating. I started out with some black yarn, and then I went to a variegated, and I'm just doing, I think I chained 100, and then I did a half double crochet across. So that's what I'm doing. It's very exciting. It is the color of Bernie's mittens if you kind of look closely. I was not planning that years ago when I started it. The yarn is old yarn that I have, obviously, which is Premier Yarns Deborah Norville Everyday Anti-Pilling. Deborah Norville used to be one of their celebrity endorsers, I guess you would call it. And this is Winding River. It's more, this part's actually black. But it's really nice yarn. It is soft. It's very smooth. And I've got 3 more skeins of it to finish this blanket, which I want to get done. The hook that I'm using is a Lion Brand K, which is a 10.5, and I think it's 6.5 millimeters. And it's a bamboo hook. Really, really warms to the touch. And I have no idea whether that's an inline head or what kind of head that is. If you know what kind of head this is for the crochet hook, I want to use the right descriptions. So I don't know, but this works really well with that anti-pilling yarn. And it's very smooth. It doesn't bother me. It's got a little notch kind of thing here where your finger rests. Really nice hook. And I think I bought that and 2 other sizes of it as a 3-pack from Walmart on closeout for like $5 or something goofy like that. So other than that, there's not a lot going on. I have one yarn that I will be working with soon. That's a really good picture. You can see 3 different colors of green, 1 of gray, and 1 of cream. This yarn is tartan, is the colorway, and it is Lion Brand Madala Roving, and it's a number 3, 415 yards, 380 meters, 5.3 ounces, 150 grams. So it's a really nice roving style yarn. I'm looking forward to making a scarf with it, I think, for St. Patrick's Day. The podcast Bag O' Day Crochet has a tutorial for a scarf out of this particular yarn. I am going to try and follow her tutorial because I watch her a lot. She's really interesting, Crystal. She does a lot of yarn reviews. She shows projects. She does tutorials. She does all kinds of stuff. I think this is her living because she's on a lot and she produces a lot of content. It's very good content too. A lot of, like, if you want to look at a new yarn, she's your lady to go look at. And she seems very personable and stuff. So I'm going to look at her tutorial and make a scarf. So that's all I got for this week, folks. Like I said, you can look forward to, in the coming weeks, seeing new content. And please check me out on social media. If you like what you see in this podcast, please subscribe. Please click the little bell too, so that you'll be notified when there is a new podcast episode that goes up. And hopefully I'll be getting into some new yarns soon. And we'll be looking at yarns from my stash too, to kind of see how they work up. My plan is to actually use the name of the podcast, which is Knits Up, to show how a yarn knits up or crochets up. That's the plan. So please subscribe, please interact, please make a comment below, like the video. I'd like to start getting more content to you that's better and more interesting content. And I hope you have enjoyed this time with you. I've enjoyed it with you, and I'm anticipating seeing you again next week. Please stay safe and happy crafting.